Alright, today I am going to be fixing the fourth gear on my Aztek. It has the 4T65E transmission, and I do not have fourth gear or overdrive in this. So I'm going to do a tutorial on how to go about fixing this. What it is, it's the fourth gear spline that's gone bad. I'll show you the parts that I'm going to be replacing. I'm replacing the clutches in it as well. So we'll have everything new in fourth gear for this fix. Obviously the first thing you're going to do is jack it up and put it on jack stands. And you're going to want to put the jack stands up here on the frame rails right here, because you're going to have to lower down part of the front support. So I've already got my lug nuts loosened up and ready to take the tires off. This should probably be anywhere between about a 6 to 10 hour job. It's going to take a little bit of time, but I figure you know, it's worth it to have fourth gear, and all the parts and fluids and everything will probably run about $150. So it's not too terribly expensive of a job, but it is going to take a little bit of time. It's like most fixes, it's more time than cost. So let me show you the parts I'm going to be replacing. Alright, here's the part that's went bad. What happens is, up until 2003, they didn't put a hardened spline in there. As you can see, there's the teeth in these, and this is the part that goes bad. These tend to shear off after continued use and wear. I'd say mine's got about 150,000 miles on it or so, but it's the only part that's bad in it, so I'm going to fix it. And here are some of the gaskets that I'm going to be needing to replace. The case gasket, and here are the clutch plates and discs that I'm going to replace in there. This one also comes with the apply plate in there as well. I got all these parts here sent from Triple Edge Performance in Fort Wayne, Indiana, for about $65 shipped to my house. And again, this is the part that goes bad. These teeth can just shear off. And this one here is the hardened spline like they put in 2000 and above. So this is a common problem for these 4T65Es, and they put them in a lot of different kind of cars, such as, you know, the Grand Ams, Aleros, Grand Prix, Azteks, Rendezvous, and you know, several of the vans, Ventures, Silhouettes, Montanas, etc. So, if you don't have any fourth gear in one of those vehicles, this is what you're going to be replacing, or at least should replace. Alright, I got the tire off, and I am removing the nut here that holds on the half shaft. It is a 34 millimeter, and you can see my little setup that I use to break these free. Just set that in there, kind of step on it a couple times, and it'll break loose. Alright, next up I removed the two 12 millimeter bolts holding on the brake caliper. That's back here and up here. The size for the bolts may be different with your application, but they were 12 on mine. And got the hood popped up, and the seat belt wrapped around the steering wheel in order to keep it locked in place, because you're going to have to remove the slide for the rack and pinion. Alright, here's where I am now. I removed the lower ball joint here, the control arm link, or the stabilizer link, to be able to pull the lower control arm down to remove the lower ball joint. I'd removed that nut there for the half shaft, and kind of pried this back and pushed that back and out of the way, and obviously took out the tie rod end. And let's see, I also tied up my brake line up here just to kind of get it out of the way. The nuts to get this thing off is pretty far back in there, so I don't think I'm going to remove the McPherson strut. Next thing I'm going to work on is I'm going to take these two cover plates out there, get that out of the way, and let me gain access to everything in behind there. Then I'm going to take and loosen up these bolts here for wait a second, no, they're up here. These bolts up here for the subframe cross member up here on all four sides. Those sides over there on the passenger side, you just want to loosen them up, maybe 3 or 4 turns, and then these will come out, but you're going to want to support the entire structure with a jack before you do that, and I'll get to that here in a second. So this is where I'm at now. I got all this stuff removed and taken off here, trying to give you a good view, so if you get hung up on any areas, you kind of have an idea of what you're going to do. Now the problem I'm thinking I'm going to wind up having is getting that stupid boot right there. Yeah, that you got to slide it up and then get to the nut that holds the steering shaft onto the rack and pinion. So we'll see once I get there what happens with that. So alright, next step I guess will be to take off all these covers and see what I'm into there, and then try and get that boot slit off there and get that nut off there. I may have to go back in there and move the steering wheel a little bit to gain access to the nuts that are in there. So on to the next step, making some progress. Oh my gosh, what a nightmare that was to try and get off. I tried prying the boot up, I tried prying the boot down. I could not get that thing out of there, so I wound up just cutting it instead. Yeah, I know that's not the correct way of doing it, but I could not get it any other way. So, I mean, I'm sure maybe you can find a better way of doing it there. I'm just going to pack the inside of that with some grease once I get done, and just have to call it good from there. But the only other option I had was to remove those two 18mm bolts and hold that on there, but that bolt there has got to be loosened up. On mine it was a 7/16. As you can see, everything I've got done right here, over here. I disconnected the shift link cable and all that. I've got my air box off and unhooked all of this right here. This is for the 3400 model, which is what I'm working on here, getting all this off. So I removed the air box, removed the throttle cable bracket, and just obviously had to disconnect the battery. Making a little bit of progress, moving along. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have to undo this bolt right down there. I believe that's a 13 or a 15mm, not sure yet. Take out that plug there for the transmission, because that side cover plate's going to have to come off there. And remove some of those bolts. Let's see what else. I'm going to try to unfasten those subframe bolts and start lowering it down. So show you where I'm at next. Obviously, if you have any questions, leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll do what I can to help fix this. I'm by far no transmission expert, but I've read up enough on this and know enough in order to get this fix done. Oh yeah, in order to get this off, you got to squeeze the sides here, and then it helps to kind of push it in this way, and then squeeze the sides, and then kind of just wiggle it loose, and it'll pop out. Alright, here's where I am now. I went ahead and removed the motor mount brackets up here at the top. Took this bolt out right here that was holding on this bracket, and I also removed the 2 bolts holding on the exhaust from down below. Then here. so now that's off. And next step I'm going to do is start taking out some of these bolts. Like right here. And over here. This one here is an elongated bolt there. Now these down here on the bottom have Torx heads. You might be able to see it. There it is. Best way to do is get in there and clean them out. There's I believe 4 of those. Clean them out real good. They're a T40 star head bit. Next thing, I guess, I'm also going to take out these bolts right here. Look like 18 millimeters, and then the 2 from down there, and remove that. And the best thing to do there is to kind of support it once you take that out with a lift, like I got over here. And it's moving along. Got quite a bit accomplished already, and we're in a few hours, so moving right along. Alright, here's where I am at now. I've got the subframe, this connect held up with this right now. I'm going to undo that bolt and then the bolt on the other side. And I got the engine jacked up with this jack right here. And then once that's all done, I'll lower the front cross member down, and that'll let that come down, and then I can lower raise and lower the engine and transmission as needed, and then get inside that transmission. So I'm starting to get into the meat and potatoes of this thing. Let's see, what else have I done? Oh, I also drained out all the transmission fluid there. I'm going to put a new transmission fluid in it, and new filter in it as well, and get on any kind of debris from when the 4th gear shaved itself off inside there. So, alright, kind of a quick update on where I'm at. Those are all 10 millimeters down there. Let's go over here to my parts pile and kind of show you all the parts. Oh, I also undid the dog bones there, and then undid the exhaust manifold there. So hopefully this will all drop down fairly easy. Got this bracket off there and some of them bolts, so still moving along, chugging away at it. Alright, this is where I'm at now. Figured I'd make a quick update. I went ahead and took this bracket off here, jacked it up a little bit, and removed those 4 15mm bolts there. Got a pry bar in there and took off the half shaft. Still got my jacks underneath there supporting the front cross member. Let's see, I've got a elongated bolt up here. There's another one over here, one of the ones that a little bit longer, and then there's another one up, where is it? Right by here, back in there. So those are all 13s. I'm going to go ahead and remove all the 13mm bolts there, and then work on those bottom ones that are a little bit tricky to get off there, and go from there. So this is where I'm at right now. I want to move on to the next step. Alright, I got all the other bolts out. Now I'm going to get in there and just kind of dig away with my handy dandy pick and trying to get all the dirt and everything out of there. So that'll pull these out of there. And it's best to take a extension with the T40 unit there and kind of hit that a little bit. As you can see, I'm kind of digging around in there, and I'll do that for each one. And then, like I said, get in there and kind of knock it with a hammer just to set it in there, and then try and break it loose. If I can't break it loose going left, I may tighten it up just for a second, just a little bit, just to break the bolt free enough. But they're not that tight on there, so hopefully it won't be too much of a bear to get out of there. Alright, finally got that case cover out of there. Remove that, you know, make sure you remove that bolt. Don't be like me and pull it out and then have to put it back in there. I'm sure that's going to probably cause me fits later on, but yeah, you know, it's all part of it. So next thing I did, I'm removing all the clips here that go to all the sensors. So you see where they all go and everything before I unfasten them. And then I'm going to take out all these black bolts right here that go onto the pump, and you leave the silver one on, and that keeps the pump intact together. So I'm going to get all them off and make a quick note where I'm at next. Alright, I got the pump off there. You remove all the black bolts that are holding that on there. You leave the silver one that I got my finger on right there on. Now I'm going to disconnect the park pawl right here, take that off, and then take this linkage off right there and pull it out of the way. That way I can remove the case cover with the valve body still attached, and I'll show you all the bolts that you'll take off here according to the diagram I have, and then let you see the ones that you will leave on there, so that way you don't have to take the valve body apart as well. Alright, I got that park pawl taken off there, and you can see the part that I disconnected right there. I put the spring, just hung it in there, so I can put that in there right when time comes. So that's how that slides in there. Alright, I'm going to give you a chance to pause the video here. This is a diagram that I have that lets you take out all the bolts. It shows you the bolts that are going to need to come out of there. So if you need to, pause the video here and you can see the bolts that need removed. You have to remove these two solenoids here in order to get to a couple of the bolts that are back there. You can see the bolts that are still in there. These will stay in, that one will stay in, that one will stay in, that one stays in, and the rest of them obviously will come out, and that will let you keep the valve body attached to the case, so that way you don't have to replace the check balls or the valve cover body gaskets. So I'll take this case off here and then get to the next part. Alright, here is the case off. May even get a reuse of the gasket because it did not tear and it didn't break or anything like that. And here is the 4th gear spline. Taking it out for the first time, and as you can see, there's quite a bit of difference between this one and my new one. As you can see, all of them have been shaved off. So I was right. That's the part that's wrong. I think I may make this a two-part series, so if I don't click to the next step, it's because there is a part 2 of this, which in part 2 obviously will be putting it all back together. So I guess my next step will be to get it all hooked on there and ready to go. So if you don't have any 4th gear in your 4T65E transmission, then this is your problem right down there. Alright, well, I'm going to start getting this thing put back together and see how far I can get as far as putting it back together today. So hopefully reassembly will be a lot faster and easier than disassembly.